Alright, so we're out here repairing the hood on my car. We went to the junkyard and we bought ourselves an NA hood with no hail damage, because it's almost impossible to track down the turbo hoods for these things. And we made ourselves a template out of the O2 WRX hood scoop. See it here. And we're cutting it now. We're cutting the holes smaller than it needs to be at first, just so that we can mess around with it and try to get it to fit in. The main thing is getting these bolts right here. They don't sit flush with the scoop, so we're gonna have to figure out somehow to mount them, and I'm thinking we use one of the supports under here on the bottom of the hood. But we'll have to see how that works out. So right now we've just got the Dremel. We're cutting out our hole here.
Bolt hole. Draw this mark. Follow me.
So we got our first hole cut out, and it's looking pretty good. It lined up with the template, and we drilled the holes too. You can't see that right now. We're just templating a bit more. But we got the holes here all cut out with the pilot hole. I'm about to make them a bit bigger with the other hole. Alright, so I've got the holes on the hood scoop, or the bolts on it, lined up with the holes on the hood. And it's looking good. It's looking centered. It's in a good position, and it all lines up with the holes I drilled, which is a good thing. So I guess now we got to deal with this little gap we've got in between the hood and the scoop itself. Got to cut a bit more. Trying to see if we have to do any cutting in the back end, which it looks like we're up about a little bit more than a centimeter. We'll have to see. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So this is our hood scoop hole, our handiwork here. And Dad today, completely without my help because I abandoned him, stripped the rest of the paint down and used our brand new electric sander, ooh fancy, rather than hand sanding the whole thing. So we've got the hood and it's ready for paint. And you can see here, it's actually been hail damaged. All these little spots are technically tiny dents, but they're so shallow that they have nothing on them because they're filled with primer. It's just enough of a dent where the primer fills the hole when you sand it down, and it'll get filled when we do another coat of primer. But it's surprising that you can actually see the hail damage in it. Still, but 10 times better than that hood right there. You can even see some of the hail damage right there. I mean, in real life, it looks like Swiss cheese, but this one is going to look real good, especially with this hole for the hood scoop. It's going to sit flush. Oh, it's going to be good. This video will be over once we actually get the paint job and the hood scoop on and it on the car. The Legacy sort of back to looking in her prime.
Somewhat.
Alright, it's time for the big reveal. Now, it's going to be sort of anticlimactic because there's a big issue, which is what the thumbnail and the title of this video are. Now, it looks good. I think it looks a lot better than the old one. We got the scoop back on it like we had when we first got it painted. But me and my dad are not very observant, and this hood has almost just as much hail damage. So that's a waste of $400 in terms of the paint job. Oh, here comes the Mustang flexing on me. So yeah, we paid $400 to get a hood that already had hail damage painted. Nothing against Mako. They saw it at first and said that it might show through, and my dad and I decided to take the risk, and it obviously didn't pay off too well because you can still see the hail damage, but the hail, it's so much better than it was before. I got the hood scoop back, so that's a lot more functional, and I'm a lot more function over form at the moment anyway. I mean, you sort of got to be when you drive a car like this. So that's our finished product. If you ever feel like doing this, hood scoop is holding fine. Since it actually has bolts in it this time. I might take it off another time, shave down some of the plastic pieces that are in the way, and then double-sided tape it just to be sure. But for now, it's held down by 5 bolts, so it shouldn't be coming off anytime soon. But she looks good. I also washed the Legacy. It's the first time I've ever washed her. And she cleans up nice. If just there wasn't hail damage, she cleans up real nice. These wheels. I think over the winter I'm gonna paint these black, and in a professional manner I can show you guys how to do that too. But that's the end of this tutorial, how to custom fabricate your hood. Whether you're putting a giant hood scoop on your Civic, or you're putting a ram arrow on your Mustang, or putting a hood scoop on your Legacy. Okay, thank God. For a second I thought it didn't look centered, but I'm looking at it now and it's like perfectly centered, so we're good there. Yeah, so this was an NA hood, completely flat, but you can see in there it's doing its work. It's got the intercooler ready to go, and it's looking good. Just make sure when you're getting a hood scoop that, or just make sure when you're getting a hood that it doesn't have hail damage before you go get it painted. Make sure, and if it does, if it's thin enough like this, you can probably Bondo it and have it work out just fine. Just put a lot of Bondo on it and then sand it, and then even you could probably fill most of these dents with just primer. But yeah, we didn't do that, so I'm still happy with the result. Eventually one day I'll probably do a full front end swap on this. One day we'll get this thing back to looking pretty. Well, at least prettier than it is right now. But for now, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope it was useful to you, and have a great day.